Thanks for joining me this morning on DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. We're out at R&L Angus outside of Westmoreland, Kansas. I'm here with Ron, Eva, Lynne, and Cale Hinrichsen. We're going to talk about things you need to know about preparing your cattle and taking them to the show. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned after these messages.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with Ron Hinrichsen. We're outside of Westmoreland, Kansas, and thanks for letting us come to R&L Angus.
It's our pleasure to have you here. Thanks for being here.
You bet. And we were just talking a little bit, off camera, talking about things that you do from the start, that when you pick out the calves and start to develop them and getting them ready for the show. There's a lot of things that you have to go through, a lot of different steps.
There sure is. It all begins in the fall when people pick out their calves and the kids pick up their steers or their heifers or whatever they're going to show, and making sure that they get them halter broke at a young age when they're smaller.
Right. And
then of course animal health is very important, getting them vaccinated and keeping them dewormed throughout their show career, and proper nutrition. I mean, that's the key to success, is having the right kind of rations for those cattle, a high fiber, high roughage diet so the heifers don't get too fat.
Right.
And steers likewise, getting a ration that's got enough energy in them to hit that point that they want to be for that show that they're targeting that fat steer for.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people, when you think of show animals and you think of taking them into it's one thing to have them broke enough to be around the farm. It's another thing that when you start to think about the effort and the time and the connection between the people and the cattle to take them to a show.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work for kids to get those animals ready, and it doesn't begin just the week before the fair hooked up to the back of the tractor. It takes a lot of time leading those cattle around the farm, and for that kid to bond with that animal, if you will, leading him around, getting them to where they'll set up and use the show stick properly, and most of all getting them used to different environments if they can, going to a spring show, hauling them in a trailer so they know what to do and it's the time to load up to go to the show. And so that's very important for kids to work with those cattle on a daily basis and have that bond between them.
When you start to think about, taking them to a show, I'm sure different shows have different requirements for whether it's health papers or PI testing or different things to that nature. How do you go about checking with that? Just call the show or?
Yeah, every show, most of them have online handbooks, if you will, or entry books anymore. So they always have a health requirement page online. And of course, working with the local veterinarian, knowing that you're going to go to a show out of state. Some states, like you mentioned, require PI testing, that they're PI negative. And some of them want blue tongue testing, depending on what areas that you go. But have those health papers and coordinate that with your local veterinarian.
And one of the other things is I know that y'all have been, heavily involved, but it's really something for you and your family to do together and spend time. And I think sometimes people lose sight of that family time.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the shows that we go to, they call them showcations. And, the families are going and that's their vacation. But it's just a pretty important time to spend in a pickup for long hours with the family, and things you see and the things you do, and being at the show and meeting people from around the country.
Well, y'all been very successful, not only on the cattle side, but the family side. It's great to be here today with you at R&L Angus. We're going to have a little more, get some other people involved in the show. This is Ron Hinrichsen. Thanks for joining us this morning. More on DocTalk after these messages.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan here with Eva Hinrichsen. We're outside of Westmoreland, Kansas at R&L Angus, and we're talking about preparing cattle for shows. And Eva has shown quite a few cattle, haven't you?
Yep.
And I've seen her in the ring since she was not very big. And we're talking about things that, you know, let's talk about cattle comfort first. We're going to take the cattle, we'll get them down the show.
Okay.
And there's some things that you're going to do, right, to assure that the cattle are comfortable. Mm-hmm. So what do you do for like bedding or stalls or things that where they're going to be?
Well, most of the time we go to the show and the bedding is provided, so they always have like wood chips or shavings or something. Sometimes we bring like horse pellets in, and then you put water on them and they like expand into like finer shavings and stuff. So that keeps them cooler and more clean and stuff. So make sure you have enough bedding so it's soft for them and they're comfortable like standing on it and stuff.
And then you'd mentioned during the break too, you'll even bring a mat?
Yeah, we'll bring a mat and put it under their front feet so they're standing on that in the front.
That'll give them a little more cushion. You know, 60% of the bovine's weight is on the front feet. So providing that comfort through the front limbs is really important, and y'all do that. Also gives them good traction. So we got bedding. Anything I need to do with that bedding, do I just put it down once and say I'm good for the show, or am I going to change that out, and how often do you change it out?
Usually we'll put more down like the night before the show just so it's clean, so there's not a bunch of dirt in it and stuff, and then so they're super clean for the show.
And then you blow them off, I take it, when they stand up?
Yeah, if they're laying down and they stand up, then we got to blow them off.
Okay, now let's talk about feed. We're going to make sure that we take the proper rations for the proper animals, and we also probably have to have some sort of scorecard or card to understand how much we're going to feed each one of them, right? Mm-hmm. You probably have it in your brain since you do it every day before you go.
Yeah.
But talk to me a little bit about your feeding system and some of the things. Besides the mixed ration, do you take hay with you?
Yes, we take a couple bales of, well, it depends how many days we're there and how many head we're bringing, but we'll take like prairie hay and like a bale of alfalfa too for some extra fill. But for the rations, we just, like the bull, the fall heifers, and like our bigger heifers, they all get like different rations of it. It's mostly the same mixture, but just different amounts depending on which animal it is.
Gotcha. And then obviously when we get down there, comfort of the animals, heat stress can be an issue. You've got fans that are keeping the animals cool, but you also do some stuff with water, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes, we get up, go out to the barns, and we rinse them off every morning. And then most of the time we rinse them again in the afternoon, so they're getting rinsed twice a day. And then they have fans on them constantly throughout the whole day too.
Great. What about your water supply? Are you just going to get a bucket and put it down there and say, here's your drink? Or
No, we have, we fill the water, but we use a filter for it. So they're drinking filtered water with their in the water buckets and then just with their feed.
I think it's really smart to filter that water, especially when you have a new water source, new environment, things that could be in that water that you're filtering, making sure it's pure for those animals.
Mm-hmm, yeah, especially when we go to like different states, the water is different and stuff, so the filter just helps them so they drink more of it.
Absolutely. Do you enjoy showing?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on the show today. Folks, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back more with R&L Angus here after these messages. Thanks for watching Doc Talk, and we'll see you here after a bit.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica Inc.
Today's BQA Tip of the Day is using stock dogs effectively for low-stress cattle handling on the ranch. Now, I'm a firm believer that a dog can really enhance the stress-free environment for handling cattle on a ranch if they're properly trained. I think that part of the draw to being in the cattle industry is a quality lifestyle that the rancher enjoys, the rancher's family. It's a way of life. I think having a good dog and a good horse really enhances that. And if you spend the time training a dog to be a part of your team, to work cattle in a stress-free way, it really can make for a positive experience every time you go out and work your cattle. You know, cattle can really be trained to respond to a dog. If you start out young with your cattle, like when you wean your heifers, prepare them as they mature on your ranch to respond to you and the dog properly. You'll reap the benefits for years to come. For cows that handle quietly and understand what you're trying to do with them when you move them on the ranch, whether that's bringing them to the corral for processing or shifting them from pasture to pasture, it really will make the cattle easier to handle. It will gentle cattle down. Contrary to popular belief in some cases where people think that dogs will stir cattle up and make cattle harder to handle, a dog that's properly broken, trained, and used correctly will actually make your cattle more manageable and easier to move on the ranch, and will make your life much easier, reduce the stress level for you and for the cattle, which eventually will create a better health environment for them and enhances your BQA program.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hey folks, welcome back to R&L Angus. We're here with Cale Hinrichsen, and we're outside of Westmoreland, Kansas. And now, Cale, you're going to kind of walk us through some of the things that y'all pack here in the show boxes to take with you, and it looks pretty extensive.
Yeah, it definitely is. We carry a lot of different things, whether it's different combs and brushes to all our different sprays that we put on there, and everything we do the night before the show, at home, and also on show day, as well as the equipment needed for me and my sister to go out in the ring and show.
Okay, so kind of walk me through some of the things that you're talking about here. I see quite a few brushes. It must be important to pack brushes.
Absolutely.
Is this
absolutely.
for you or for the?
Well, I do use it on myself. Got to make sure my hair looks good when I go out in the ring.
That's right.
So.
Most eligible bachelor in Kansas, right here. And now, so we do have the brushes.
Yep.
And different items in here.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll start out here. We have a rice root brush, and this is what we use at home probably the most.
Okay.
After we rinse them, we all brush them dry underneath the fans, and that really helps to stimulate the hair and grow it as best as we can. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to shows, it's really helpful for working leg hair up and that sort of thing when we go out there. And we also use a Smart Sensation, which is similar to a scrub brush, except more in a comb form. And we really appreciate that. It helps to fluff the hair. It's much equivalent right here with this orange comb. This is more of a homemade comb. But it really works well for always fluffing up that hair and making sure that it looks really good and getting it the way we wanted so that they're best presented out in the ring. We also have several different sprays, including several reconditioning sprays, as well as sheen that helps to go out and make their hair shine, as well as give it quality so it's not tough and brittle. It's smooth and fluffy. That's what we really want, is to make sure that they just look as best as they can out there. And we also have our drug box to make sure that any unexpected things may come up, that we can help take care of our cattle the best we can.
And I take it you're working in with your local veterinarian, working through an
Yep.
animal health program.
Absolutely.
So if something would go wrong while you're on the road, you want to make sure that you're prepared, that you can treat those animals and make sure that do most of the shows also have a vet on site of some sort?
Typically, yes, they do. In case anything were to come up that's major and that we would need a veterinarian for, there should be one on site that could come and help us.
Okay, great. So we've got our grooming tack, we've got our veterinary box and things to that nature. We've got our sprays. There's some other equipment down here that looks like you're going to make sure you pack. Be a pretty bad day if you forgot some of this, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our show halters go out there. You know, you can't definitely not show on a rope halter. You got to have a show halter out there as well as a show harness so we can have our number best represented.
What's some of the things that maybe if you've ever gone to a show that you might have forgot, or maybe it wasn't you forgot something, maybe somebody forgot something that...
Yep. Show day, it's we've forgotten belts, we've forgotten boots. There's actually been a time where we've forgotten a pair of jeans. So I'm not sure how that happened, but it kind of did. I guess early in the morning, your brain's slow and sluggish. Paper towels are always a necessity too when we're going up to the ring, you know, making sure that the animals stay clean and that sort of thing.
Awesome. Anything else that people need to be thinking about? I mean, obviously y'all have yours packed and it's tight and it's ready to go. Anything that we need to think about as far as things to keep animals cool, to keep animals comfortable that you'd recommend?
As far as keeping animals cool and comfortable, it's making sure that your bedding is not extremely dry and just monitoring those animals to make sure that they're staying cool, so that determines you need to go rinse them out again. So water is basically the biggest important thing when it comes to keeping animals cool. There's really no specific product that makes sure those animals are cool. Water in itself is good. Sometimes they'll put foggers on them or mister systems, but again, it's all water.
Outstanding. Thanks for spending time with us. Folks, thanks for watching DocTalk. When we come back, we're going to talk about transporting cattle to and from the show. Thanks for watching DocTalk.
I was in an accident where I fell off a roof. I don't know why I started to research stem cells, but I did. And I visited with the doctors. They were excellent. I had my neck done, my shoulders done, section of my back, my hips, my sacrum, my sciatica, and my tailbone. Now I am having better range of motion in my arms and my neck and my back. It was a long road to get there, but I'm so glad that I found them.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
This Meet the Future Veterinarian is brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Jim Coffey grew up in Prairie Grove, Arkansas, just outside of Fayetteville, on a small sheep and dairy goat farm. Since childhood, Jim has always had an affinity for animals, especially large animal production with cattle and small ruminants. After graduation, he'll be heading off to Disneyland. But after that, he plans to join a mixed animal practice in Shattuck, Oklahoma.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Broadband has become as important to us as highways. That is why DocTalk is teaming up with NTCA, the Rural Broadband Association, and rural broadband companies like Blue Valley Telecommunications in fighting for quality broadband access through the program Smart Rural Communities.
I don't think we have any idea what's coming in the future. I couldn't have imagined 5 years ago what we're doing today. So in 2 years, I would guess there's things we can't imagine that we're going to be doing.
To learn more, visit ntca.org/smart or bluevalley.net.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Lynne Hinrichsen, and we're at R&L Angus, and we've had a great day spending it with you and your family, and really appreciate y'all, the hospitality, things that you do not only for your family and showing, but you do a lot of work for a lot of people in this state, and we really appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about transporting cattle, and we're standing here in front of a trailer, but what are some of the kind of keys that we're going to start out with?
The main thing you want to make sure is that your equipment's in proper running order, just like anything for your show equipment. Oil's changed in your truck, proper air in the tires for inflation on both the truck and the trailer. Making sure you have a good working spare, especially in these hot days when you're loaded, tends to put extra pressure on those tires. And you just want to make sure all your running gear, like your lights and brakes, are working properly as well.
Yeah, and if you shut down and you're changing tire, you won't be able to get at it and get it done, because no airflow in those trailers, right. Cattle can get pretty hot pretty quick.
Absolutely. We want to make sure their comfort is always key. So make sure it's almost like a pit crew. Everybody comes out, knows what their job is, get it done, tire change, and you're back on the road.
You bet. And it's just important to think about before you take off. But what about training animals to load and unload? I check some animals in at fairs, and it can be, I can't imagine what happened at the farm getting them on the trailer after what I watched trying to get them off the trailer. Do you all work on that, or?
We definitely work on that at home first. We go to several spring shows, and we're fortunate that we have some early shows, like from January to April, to get the cattle to. So they're being loaded at a young age and learning how to stand in the trailer properly, being tied. The kids will get them loaded and take them on and off just for practice. And the key is a lot of things, just again, their comfort is try to have the step as low as possible walking in, and then having a tie rail on the inside of your trailer is always key, so that they can be tied to that and be at a comfortable level. So if they want to lay down, they can, if you've got enough room.
Oh, okay. And then, when you're hauling cattle and you're driving down the road, what are some things that you are conscious of as far as the cattle comfort in the back and things of that nature?
Again, making sure the airflow's coming through, you don't have any, your vents are open, whether they're on top or on the side or on the front, and just keeping at a constant speed so that, the airflow's running through. We always want to make sure you've got enough distance, because you're loaded, you're a lot heavier, just like a semi, you want to be able to stop. And be aware of people who are around you, making sure that they're giving you enough distance and you're just keeping, within your lane and at the right speed.
And some of these trailers, obviously this is not an issue here with y'all's trailer because it's newer, but checking the flooring, especially with some of the old trailers that have wood slat floors.
Right.
Important.
Very important, because those get wet from moisture in the air or from the cattle themselves, and you just want to make sure that you have some other kind of bedding in there, or the floors may be cleated. These trailers, these aluminum trailers, usually have a diamond plating, and then we still keep them bedded fairly deep, so that, again, cattle comfort, that's more of a shock absorber for them on their feet and legs when they're traveling long distances. But again, making sure it's not real slick, because we don't want anybody's, legs going out from under them and then causing problems.
Well, folks, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hinrichsen family, thanks for having us out and spending time. Y'all do a lot to be ambassadors for the beef industry, and it's very, very appreciated by all of us that are involved. And Ron, thanks a lot for all that you do, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. If you want to know more about us on DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian. Thanks for watching DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson from Kansas State University, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.